Hello there, Taylor here, and today I'm going to do a quick tutorial to show you how to treat photography for the Olark website. So you see here I've got the original photo. It's the only layer in my layers palette so far. And what I want to do first is go down to my adjustment layers and add one for color balance. And what that's going to do is bring up these options in my properties palette. First thing I want to do is take this top slider and shift it toward red away from cyan until I get to 40. And then this bottom slider, I'm going to go toward yellow away from blue until it hits -20. Okay. Now with this color balance layer selected, what I want to do is go down here again to the adjustment layers and choose solid color. And the color I want to use here is our purple 800 color. If you don't have that readily available, like I do in my swatches palette, the hex code is 381065. So I'm going to click OK. And then I want to go to my blend modes, and I'm going to select exclusion. Okay, so it's already kind of getting this soft feel to it. Now the next thing I want to do is add another adjustment layer. And this one is going to be for brightness and contrast. Okay, and then that's going to give me these options in my properties palette here. For brightness, I want to go +20. And contrast, we're going to do +70. Okay. Now I'm going to select that adjustment layer, go back down here, and this time I'm going to select gradient. Okay, so the first thing I want to do now is I want to click this gradient option here, and I want to make sure the second preset is selected, foreground to transparent. And the color I want to use for the foreground, by double clicking this swatch here, is our orange 600 color. So I'm going to click OK there, I'm going to click OK here, and before I click OK in this final dialog, I want to adjust the angle of this gradient a little bit. And I find usually what happens is if you have a photograph that has a natural light source to it, like this one sort of has this window with this light coming through, it looks best if the orange is kind of coming from that direction. So I'm going to do something like this. And then just a little tip here, before you click OK, you can click and drag inside the image, and the gradient will kind of follow your mouse according to the angle that you've selected. So I'm going to give it something about like that. Click OK. And then for the blend mode on this layer, this time I want to select screen. Okay. So that's kind of giving me some of that soft light feel coming through already. And then finally, I'm going to add just a clean layer by clicking this icon here on top of everything. And I want to make sure that the foreground color that I have selected now is our red 600 color. And real quick, the hex for that is CE1F21. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm just going to grab this brush tool. I'm going to make sure it's nice and big and the hardness is all the way down, so I've got a nice soft edge. And in my new layer here, I'm just going to kind of paint some of that red in. Do a little something like that. And then for my blend mode on this, I'm going to select color dodge. Okay, so I've got this kind of pink color coming in, but it's a little strong, so I'm going to play with the opacity. I'm going to take it down a bit. And I'm also going to, you can free transform this layer. Just hit Command T, and you can make it bigger, smaller, maybe even rotate it a little bit, just so it's got a little bit of that pink kind of coming through. I find that kind of doing it on the opposite side of that orange gradient gives me the best results. So that's it. And just to compare this to what we had at the beginning, here's the original and the treated photo. And this just gives us a really nice background for type and just kind of a nice, warm, happy feeling to the photo. So that's it for the tutorial. Thanks for watching, and happy photo editing.